CD Projekt Red came back with another episode of Night City Wire to give us some juicy new Cyberpunk 2077 details. Lethal Lightning's common law life partner, Holly Bennett, gets her hosting hat trick and wastes no time once again laying out the order of events, setting expectations nicely. We start by getting a deep dive into the level design of Night City itself, with a sizzle reel trailer and an interview with senior level designer Miles Tost, who shared some pretty exciting details. From a structural standpoint, the city is divided into districts and sub-districts, which apparently all have a distinct theme and visual style. The functional result of this should be that as you begin to learn the city, you'll be able to get a sense of where you are just by looking around and paying attention to what the art looks like. But two other aspects of this made my ears perk up. First, the streets all have names in Night City, which is intended to give players a means of being able to talk about cool things they've seen or events they've taken part in based on location. Rather than rely solely on landmarks or sharing screenshots of your map screen, you can tell people, there's a really cool thing at insert specific intersection here. It's a simple idea, but may end up making a significant impact on how immersive the city itself feels. The other cool aspect is that apparently they're taking a page from the Dark Souls level design playbook. We've been hearing a lot about the vertical level design of Night City, but I always assumed that mostly referred to the various buildings and skyscrapers, but it seems to also be in reference to the different levels of the city itself. Tost mentioned that you may come across an elevator which will take you to an area which you've been to before, giving you that same light bulb moment about the level design which you'd get the first time you took the elevator in the Undead Parish which brought you back to Firelink Shrine. You realize that rather than everything being spread out in a linear fashion, the map folds onto itself like origami. It's one of the many reasons Dark Souls is awesome, and also why Dark Souls 2 kinda sucks. After the level design showcase, we get a quick look at the gangs of Night City, and from a world building standpoint, this might be one of the coolest things we've seen from Night City Wire. There aren't 3 factions, 4 factions, or even 5 factions operating in Night City, but a whopping 9 separate gangs, each with their own style, lore, and visual design. First up, we've got the Maelstrom, the unhinged, chaotic, extreme transhumanists. The Valentinos are the sidekick character Jackie's old gang and appear to be styled after real-world Latin American gangs. They have a rivalry with the third gang shown, 6th Street, who appear to be a comically patriotic American gang. The Voodoo Boys are up next, and they're a group of Haitian netrunners, which are this universe's term for hackers. We hear Keanu's Johnny Silverhand explain that their district, Pacifica, is Haiti 2.0 and is cut off from the rest of the city. That is until the next gang, the Animals, moved into Pacifica and started a turf war with the Voodoo Boys. The Animals are essentially the cyberpunk equivalent of steroid junkies, obsessed with making their bodies physically stronger with radical and dangerous body modifications. They all seem to use unarmed hand-to-hand combat. Next up are the Tiger Claws, who are the city's Japanese gang, appearing to be the cyberpunk spin on the Yakuza. I'll lose my shit if we get a cyborg Kiryu in this game. Or Majima. Majima would probably make more sense. Either way, they'll be facilitating the cyberpunk katana duels by the look of things. The Moxies are a group of sex workers and pimps who have banded together to keep things like prostitution and braindance regulated. This is also the gang of Night City Wire fan favorite Judy, who I don't think X-Ray Girl wants me talking to. Love you, baby. The Wraiths and Aldecados are briefly shown at the end of the segment and are 2 of the Nomad gangs out in the Badlands. The Wraiths appear to be the closest thing to a Mad Max gang, as they're rogue nomads led by a dude who apparently wears human skin, and I guess the Aldecados are the good guys, like Cyberpunk Sons of Anarchy? Not sure, but I may be going nomad on my first playthrough, so I'll find out in November. There's another gang which is only mentioned in one line at the beginning of the trailer called the Scavengers, or Scavs, and based on their fan wiki blurb, they're likely the gang who kidnapped the woman in the initial gameplay reveal in order to harvest her implants. Basically, they are cyberpunk organ thieves. At the end of the reel, we got an interview with quest director Mateusz Tomaskevich, who clarified that while you will interact with all of the gangs and can take quests from any of them, you can't join a gang. Mercenaries in Night City are sort of a faction in and of themselves, and your role as V is that of an up-and-coming mercenary who operates out of a club called the Afterlife, which seems like a similar deal to the bar in Deadpool. The final 2 segments were quick nods of respect to my fellow PC bros.
What seems to be the problem here, gentlemen? Who the hell are you? I'm PC Principal. Oh, nice, we're all PC too. No way, there's more PC bros here?
First were some impressive PC case mods, which look aesthetically amazing. Personally, I'd be more impressed with a cardboard box rig that has incredible system specs rather than the fanciest case imaginable, but they're cool and will eventually be auctioned off for charity. The more interesting news was that CD Projekt finally released the minimum and recommended system requirements for Cyberpunk 2077, and the game will in fact run on a potato. They do recommend that you have an SSD on that potato, but even that's not required. I was really pumped when I saw the recommended specs though, because while the goddamn insane PC gamers on the G&G staff like Uche and I are well above the recommended line, even if we don't upgrade to 3000 series GPUs before November, several other members cleared the line as well. Ryan, Krista, Andrew, and my very own X-Ray Girl all have rigs powerful enough to run this game at or above the recommended specs, so hopefully I'll be able to talk them into capturing some footage, because I thought it would be really neat to compare one mission from all of our V's perspectives. Is that something you'd be interested in seeing? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys for another recap after Night City Wire 4.